Okay, I'm going, guys, to talk to you about what is going on with the startup ecosystem in Colombia. I will show you what are the most prominent and important startups that are nailing it nowadays. A bit of a presentation about myself, talking about what we have been doing. Just for your information, I have lived in Bulgaria the last 16 years, which has been quite an endeavor, quite a ride, quite a journey, trying to pull the talent from the Eastern Bloc to South America, because you will see across the presentation, I'm going to tell you, we'll have a layer of, let's say, self-criticism, and besides that, opportunity for what you guys know what to do best, is, which is to architect, to model, to design, to execute projects that otherwise wouldn't be happening in several arenas in the world. Yeah. Just a personal note before presenting. This presentation means an intense and aims to motivate the audience for further contact. So I hope you to do so. Okay, without any delay, this is myself. This is my timeline, my Genesis blog. I'm 1975 model, right? My IT curiosity raised few years after I had the opportunity of working computers before you. I mean, maybe most of you haven't even been born. In '87, I had my first milestone as a black hat. Yeah, but I took the bright sides of the force afterwards. I went to the university. I worked in several projects with the university, with modeling, computer modeling, with programming. I was teacher in the university. Then I decided to go to Japan to specialize myself in robotics. But I came back to Colombia. I'm Colombian citizen, Colombian national, with the idea of having the best of the both worlds in the developed, severely developed countries, and how we can implement certain technologies that are needed for raising up the scale of our society. Because I am a strong believer that we should use technology to solve fundamental problems. So after a few years, I went to live in Bulgaria in 2007. I work in HP as well. I had several contacts. I am certain entrepreneur, so I decided to go for contacting entrepreneurs, startup funds, and every single company that could provide software services to this part of the world. And I have been traveling back and forth ever since, trying to pull the best talent from Bulgaria, Ukraine, and Estonia to the local ecosystem, which, by the way, is also something most needed. It's almost needed here in this part of the world. I will explain you why, and I'm starting in this way my presentation. After founding Bochica, Bochica is a deity from the indigenous mythology in Colombia. It was the messenger of the gods. So we started as a blockchain company. We wanted to start this first blockchain as a network here installed in the university and funded by the universities. And we pivot to work with AI and IoT products after the COVID. So what is my business about is to harness, motivate, and sponsor ideas to improve the world. I am not just a visitor or a spectator. I am I am trying to turn the axe of what we're doing and what we're accomplishing in this field of innovation. I am university professor here in Colombia about innovation, so I might look young, but I'm not. Yeah. So a few facts about Colombia with O. It's not Colombia. Colombia is some a district in the United States, and in Canada is Colombia with O. We have 50 million people. We have Shakira. We have more or less 70 plus indigenous population groups still. We have the best emeralds in the world. And if you want to spot a Colombian within a crew, we always point with our mouths. We don't, we are not kissing you guys. We are just pointing. If you are looking for something, we're telling you it's there. So if we want to spot the Colombian, look for the one pointing with their mouths, okay? Okay, without any other um, anticipation, I am showing you what is happening in Colombia. I am going to show you the most prominent startups that are making it and are nailing it nowadays with funding, with important funding in Colombia. I'm starting with these guys, Ubits. They are working in the field of edutech. They are they're offering services. Is why I have the symbol of male and female, because I consider this important as a personal note that female population get more into entrepreneurship, because as I will show you, most of the biggest funded startups, by chance, they have women either as founders or now CEOs. So it's very important, and if we have women within the audience, I seriously encourage you to go for it, to risk it a little bit, and to show yourself in the arena. These guys are working in edutech. They a few years ago raised the first $32 million in a couple of three series C and D, and now the valuation is about $100 million. I'm going to jump one by one over these startups for you guys to see that things are happening, and as much as they are happening, I want to talk more about what is under the hood. These guys, movie, they are a neobank. They are shaking the tree in the fintech area here in Colombia. They raised $34 million. Valuation is around 80 million. It's funded by one guy, and it has another couple of co-founders. They are offering financial services as a bank, as you know, banks, but it's fully digital. Yeah, and they have wallets and all the things that you know that need to orbit around a neobank. Mm, Again, they tapped into the fintech ecosystem, and mostly fintech is it's very appealing because it promises a lot of money. But I'm telling you guys, go for the startups that promise a lot of purpose. The more purpose we have, the more money we will have afterwards. But if you want to go for the money, you might attract the wrong people. These guys are doing very well. Of course, they are startups, so what is happening is that they are having serious attacks from the current well established banks in Colombia, because whatever a bank did in several decades, they are doing in a few years. So they are intended to be disruptive. This guy from Credit Valores, they work in financial services. You might consider them as a digital broker here in Colombia. They initially raised 34 million, and now valuation is around 150. If you notice, um, we are having like important funding, and when you add up, you will see what is happening in Colombia. And I will repeat myself several times with each of these slides. No matter the sector these startups are developing, you will see that we are lacking of something very, very important that actually Eastern Europe can provide. So uh, wait for it. ERCO, these guys are working in energy distribution in B2C model. They work as a distributor of photovoltaic energy, which is very sexy nowadays because they are clean energy, they are green, so they are getting a lot of funding nowadays. They are just a couple of years ago they started doing important things, so they raised and valued in the same amount of money, $36 million, funded by guys, three co-founders. Yeah, still low, let's say low profile in the context of this presentation, low profile startup with only male founders. So you see we are spreading. We have a broad portfolio of startups, not only in the digital software arena, but we are having a combination of technologies like software embedded system, even as the guy that was talking before me, Jair. So you see that we are good at integrating things. We are good at connecting uh, with several companies and putting things together and making it as one. So this is something that we do. We're very good at putting together the pieces, and I will elaborate more further on this. These guys lifted. They raised 39. They are valued $100 million, and they are in the business of instant cargo delivery. What is that? What they are doing is that they are putting together a, an ecosystem of logistics in which you go, for example, to IKEA, and there are some guys there that actually can deliver on the spot your furniture, your big living room, whatever you buy in these kind of shops to your home. As you have, you can call it is like a Uber, but for appliances, for furniture, for your bed, for whatever. So it's a very interesting business model that is based basically as a Uber. You can call it. It's a Uber of the appliances and furniture that you can have at home. Again, funded by mail only. And again, tapping into the logistics sector. You see, I have jumped from fintech to edutech to energy, and now we have logistics. Very good initiatives are happening here, and because we are about delivery here in Latin America, delivery is one of the things, and you will see why, and you will see how important and how let's say capital is the attention that you guys should pay to things like Glovo that you have down there in Bulgaria. These guys from Foodology, they raised 40, they are valued in 100. Is Vistral Hostellery B2C. In what they are focused, there is funded by male and female alike. They are focused on precisely as the name it says, is to go very carefully across the marketplace for food and offering a very convenient alternative for the sector of hostelry, meaning hotels, shops, restaurants, and everything that can sell food. So you see, it's a niche. It looks like a niche, but when you see that they raised $40 million, it gets important, and they are meant to supply the suppliers, yeah, but also the guys that are like you, like me, that can go and say, okay, I need to buy exactly this, and they put the things together for you and they deliver. So if you see there are small variation to main uh, let's say business models. I'm putting this on purpose here, just for you to show you guys that it's very important that you tap into a small variation of same sector, and you can nail a very good business opportunity. Now these guys raise 100, they are valued in $100 million. Leica, why I put Leica here, which is the CEO is a woman, because in the early 2000s, this was one of the dot-com bubbles. This was one of the most commented failures of the dot-com era, the dot-com bubble. But as you can see, now they are very successful. They raised almost 50 million. They are valued $200 million nowadays. They are working in 3 countries now, and it's about the same, selling accessories, food for pets. Something that was a failure 20 years ago now is very successful. Why? Because technology was not about dot coms, and now it has developed several branches as logistics, and of course it's more robust. There are more systems that are acquired and integrated into the supply chain and the value chain of this kind of business. So you see that, and it's something that you should take a note upon. Maybe business models that 20 years ago were not successful, or were they look kind of crappy. Now they might look as an opportunity, because this is one of those examples that Guy Kawasaki mentions every time he has the opportunity to talk about the dot-com failure. So please pay attention to this business model, which is appointed to pets. Muncher is a is this new concept of having in big cities. I don't know how it's working in Sofia actually, but Muncher are pointed, laser pointed in dark kitchen business to business model. For the ones that don't know what is the dark kitchen, is for example that you might have let's say You have a Bodenitsata, which is in the hill, but you want Bodenitsata close by. So they might have around the corner a dark closed kitchen with the same food, the same menu. So you can order from Bodenitsata, but actually it's going to be delivered from 2 blocks away from you because they have the same recipes. They maybe the chef trained the cook that is there, but they are not open to the public. It looks like kind of lame because you say, okay, why I should take the time to go to Bodenizata because I want the experience of the restaurant, but people always also wants the food, and $50 million raised, an evaluation of 110 tells you that they are in the right business. And it's a thing now in Colombia, because we have a lot of restaurants that are growing and growing and growing, and but they cannot open. After COVID, economy was very beaten up, but it gave the opportunity to this kind of business model, particularly for restaurants. I have a restaurant myself, uh, to open a different way of being alive, keeping alive without the investment of putting and setting up a full restaurant decorations and so on and so on. And they just go for the food. So they are selling the brand, which is very important, guys. Pay attention to how you brand yourselves so you can expand and maybe franchise in this way almost any other business model that you might come across about massive consumption. Okay, these guys from I put it like this, e-commerce, because they came to the e-commerce sphere. These guys are working with SMEs, B2B. What do they do? Here in Colombia and mostly in every single city in Latin America, small shops are a thing. Those small shops that you find around the corner, the banking system don't pay much attention to them, so they found this niche. And after $63 million raised, you can say that it's a good niche to work on. And they offer these financial services and ecosystem for them to develop as a business itself. They provide the way of payment methods and things like that, because here is a thing that you go to the small shop to buy things regularly. You might go to the big chain, you go to Jumbo or you go to Fantastico or those places once a month, but these small shops are a thing for daily supply, and those business people need somebody to be paying attention to them and offering this kind of technologies and platforms that they can implement and develop. So you see that there is a niche there as well. Merkeo. Okay, this is not new. This is food retail, but what is important that they are paying very much attention at the quality of the food, right? So they raised 80 million and they are about to get their IPO, so it's incoming. And when I say IPO, it means that we might see the third Colombian unicorn very soon. Very simple business, but they are very well developed because the quality of the goods that they offer and the supply chain is ironclad, is bulletproof. So it's something very important that runs in the back office of the startups, guys. So mind your code, mind your test, mind your CDCI, mind your cloud, mind everything, but mind your business, which is something as a personal note, and as I mentioned at the beginning, guys, you are very good technicians, very good at making architecture and writing code, not that much as developing the business at this scale I'm talking about, but you can do it. And actually, I have been trying for the last decade to bond Bulgarian companies with Colombian companies because we know about the business, you know about the technical parts, whatever runs under the hood, you have it. We don't. We are lame at technology. Maybe there are a few, three, four companies here that are doing things nice and right, but for the rest, we are not good coders because we don't have a very good mathematics or pure science based people. So mind this because whatever content you want to make after this presentation at this event of Futurist, I will be very welcoming to talk to you guys because this example, online food retail B2C, is every other person have thought about this. But these guys raised $80 million. Why? Because they mind the business. They don't have the best technology. They have the best processes as well, the best logistics, the best step-by-step follow-up of every single order. So guys, mind the business. Bolt, payments B2B. Recently, my last time in Sofia was in August. I saw there's a company giving away these post terminals. Mind this, 70 million raised, valuation 220, funded by men and women alike. So mind this business because it's stepping in between the intermediation of the banks, which is absolutely outrageous and absolutely expensive, and they manage to democratize the access to payment system for small shops. Yeah. So when they bond with these guys from Treinta that I showed you a few slides ago, so they are going to change the business as we know it. The movement of the cash, of the currency as we know it. Why? Because their intermediation is very small and the terminal costs almost nothing, and this very small rent per month. So it's the end of the recurrent payments that every transaction has. They have a completely different model that actually is having a lot of success. Okay, these guys from Chipper, yeah. So they are supply chain for retail, B2B. What it means that I need to supply my shop. These are the guys you call to do that, right? So you see they step in between the intermediators, but to do a good and healthy intermediation. Yeah. So going over those businesses that you take for granted is the key for success. That's the message. That's what I'm including all these startups. But 3 or 4 startups that I'm showing you with very innovative models and very good ideas. The rest is just to mind what is happening and try to do it better. So I encourage you guys to think in this direction, and of course, any suggestion will be welcome. And you will see when you go to the websites of these guys what they are doing. And this is a good example. Platzi. I know Freddy. He said, okay, why we don't do online education? Okay, online education is okay, another online education, but the content, the way it's displayed, the way the explanations are made, the presentation, the UX is perfect. He managed to raise $80 million, and his valuation is around 280 nowadays. So I know you yourself might have designed edutech technology for universities, for schools, for the government. But if you see, it's about the business model, how you portray it, how you make this a scenario for your business. Because education B2C is something that we know maybe 20 years ago, 25 years ago. But why these guys are having success? So I encourage you again to go over their website. You can look for them as Platzi in Colombia, and why they are doing it in the way they are doing it, and they are having a lot of success. And now with the integration of AI for their processes, the onboarding, the explanations, and everything, they are going to have a supernova explosion, because they now, for the time being, are offering content only in Spanish, maybe a few in English, but not much. But think about AI and what you can do with a presentation like the one I'm doing myself at the moment. If I can play the presentation in Bulgarian, in Russian, in Chinese, in Hindi, yeah, I will only Chinese and Hindi. I will raise my scope another 2.5 billion people. So is something that is the next step for education, in my opinion. Yeah, talking about all the content that exists online, and actually I am a very AI enthusiast myself, that we're working a project for making such similar thing with contact centers. Yeah. Okay, Robin Food. This is it's a very catchy name, right? It has more or less the same model as the dark kitchen, but they are going directly to B2C. Yeah, they go directly. So they are cutting the cap of intermediaries with the restaurants, They are completely dark. They don't have points of sales. You don't get any restaurant. Yeah, everything is online. They raise 90 million. Yeah, so pay attention to that person that sells a very good yogurt, the one that sells the very good marmalade, the one that sells that very good thing that you guys eat, because dark kitchen is becoming a thing. Yeah, so you might have a lot of code in your files, in your projects, that maybe with a little twist, a little tweak, might do the thing. La house. La house is important. It's a prop tech. You know what is prop tech? They are buying real estate. They are selling real estate. These guys have investment from Jeff Bezos itself. So why did he invested in this? Because we are close to the States. That's the reason. Because maybe you have a couple of prop techs down there in Bulgaria, yeah, or in Eastern Europe, but you need a platform to launch. You need to be seen by the guys that can give the opportunity of raising $160 million and now having a valuation of 300. So it's very important that you spot these things. These guys are in the in the supply chain of hardware. I'm talking about tools, and everything that you find in the gelateria, right? Everything, everything. So they step in between. They have nowadays a valuation of $800 million. They are in 5 countries. They made a rush in Ecuador. They had to close Ecuador. Yeah. So it's not only about rushing because you have money, because $200 million give you a lot of space to do things, but also a lot of space to make huge mistakes. So I insist, if we bond, if you guys with your very strong Goliath type technical solutions background and way of doing your technical processes, we bond with the Latin American, South American business models, we will be invincible. Adi, these guys in fintech B2C, nothing new here, but again, fintech is a thing. So they stepped in the arena of offering this kind of financial services B2C. I'm not talking about here online loans. I intentionally put these guys out of the picture for personal matters. I don't believe that squeezing people online with loans is a good thing to go. This is a moral thing from my end. They might raise a lot of money and make a lot of money. It's not what I'm fan for the same reason of not attracting people, the wrong people about money. But in the other hand, they are doing it very well, and they are offering financial services to the people. These guys from Frubana, this is a supermarket, the one that you find in the supermarkets, in the markets across the city for vegetables, fruits, and so on and so on and so on. So they have this business model to supply big chains. It's a B2B business. Now the valuation is around 350. So same thing here. Normal business model. They step into the thing, but this is about processes. It's about quality logistics, supply chain assurance. Everything goes flawlessly. They take care of everything. You don't need to complain to 10 people to check where is your food. Is is just the way to go. Avi, the second unicorn for Colombia in PropTech, they buy and sell real estate. And the last one that I told you, this is the Globo in asteroids. This is the super app of Colombia, valuation $5.5 billion. They are sector, you name it. They are into everything. They are a bank already. They have credit card, debit cards, etc., etc., and they raised $2.2 billion. They are in 7 countries. And the jewel of the crown, Nubank. This is a neobank. This is a bank without offices, without buildings, without anything. Valued in $34 billion with a B. Yeah. So what the guy did, took a neobank core software, improved it, and now this is what is happening. So this is the end of my presentation. I wanted just to show you that within these 25, 30 startups, we have raised close to $7 billion